Hi there. I understand that you have a couple questions about some problems in level F. I think this is lesson 91. So let me talk you through how we are going to add fractions with different denominators by using the multiplication table. That's kind of like the big theme for that particular lesson. So let's start with this first problem on that worksheet. 1/2 plus 1/7. Well, clearly these are different denominators, so we can't just add, right? So we need to find out what the common denominator is, and we do that on the multiplication table by looking at the denominator, and looking for that on the multiplication table. So we're going to find the 2 here and the 7 there. Now, the trick for me, how I look at it, is I always start with a higher number. And I look and see, okay, is there that number up here? This is 7. Is that number up here in this list? It is not. So then I move to the next one. The next number is 14. I'm going to look over here, and yes, it is. So our common denominator is going to be 14. So when I come over here, I'm going to write 14 in the denominator so I don't get confused. Now, I'm going to see what I did to 2 to get to 14. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to see the difference between two, not the difference. I'm going to see how many times I multiplied 2, what I multiplied by 2 to get to 14. So I multiplied 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I multiplied 7 times 2 to get to 14. So I need to do the same thing with the numerator. 7 times 1 is 7. I'm going to do the same thing with the denominator. How did I get from 7 to 14? I multiplied by 2. So I'm doing the same thing with the numerator. 1 times 2 is 2. Now I have the common denominator. So my answer is going to have 14 in the denominator, and I'm going to add the numerator. 7 plus 2 is 11. I'm sorry. It's not 11, it is 9. Oh my goodness. Coffee, please. All right, so anyway, so the answer is 9/14. All right, let's do the next one. Here we have 4 in the denominator and 5 in the denominator. I'm always starting with my bottom one, so I'm looking for a 5 up here, not there. Looking for 10 up here, not there. 15, not there. 20, there it is. So my common denominator is going to be 20. All right, so I'm going to put 20 in the denominator here. Now, how did I get there? What did I do to 4 to get to 20? I multiplied it by 5. So 1 times 5 is 5. What did I do to 5 to get to 20? I multiplied it by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so I'm going to multiply this 4 by 20, and that's going to be 16. Now I'm going to add these together. 5 plus 16 is 21/20. Now this is an improper fraction, so we're going to make it a mixed number, which is going to be 1 and 1/20. All right, let's try this next one. So here we have, notice, a whole number. I'm going to ignore it for now. Let's not mess with that. Let's just focus on the fractions, all right? So here we have 1/6 and 3/4. So I'm going to look at the 4s and the 6s. I always start with the higher number. So I have a 6. Is 6 up in this list? It is not. Let's come down here. There's a 12, and oh, there we go. We have a 12. So the common denominator between the 4s and the 6s are 12s. So I'm going to put my 12 right here, 12. All right, what did I do with 6 to get to 12? I multiplied by 2, so I'm going to do the same thing with the numerator, which gives me 2/12. What did I do to the 4? To get to 12, I multiplied by 3. 3 times 3 is 9. All right, so that gives me the fraction of my denominator is 12, and the top one is 11/12. But remember, we have this whole number here, so we got to move that. So my answer, my full answer is 2 and 11/12. I don't have to do anything with that 12 in this case. All right, let's do this next one. We're going to ignore this for now. We're going to work only with the fractions. So we have 5/12 and 1/4. I'm looking at my chart and I'm like, uh-oh, I don't have any 12s down here. Well, let's take a look, because I do know that the 4 has a 12. So 12 itself is the common denominator in this case. So I'm going to use that. 12 and 12. Now I already know I don't have to do anything here. I'm just going to copy that fraction on over. But what did I do to the 4 to get to 12? Well, I multiplied it by 3. 1, 2, 3. So I need to multiply this by 3. So my answer is 3/12. Now I'm going to add them together, and that gives me 8/12. but we can reduce this. So let's go ahead and do that. Both of these fractions, or both of these numbers, is divisible by 4. All right. One thing about the multiplication table is if you have the two numbers of a fraction in the same column, you can reduce it simply by scrolling down there. So the reduction of 8/12 is 2/3. Isn't that cool? All right. So 8/12 is the same as 2/3, but I had this whole number, so we need to move that over there. So my final answer is 4 2/3. One more. Here we have 7 2/3 and 4 1/4. We are going to ignore these for now. And I'm going to find the common denominator between the 3 and the 4. All right, so I start with a higher number. There's no 4s up there. There's no 8s up there. Is there a 12? There is. So 12 is my common denominator. All right, and I'm ignoring these whole numbers for now. What did I do to 3 to get to 12? I multiplied by 4. So I need to multiply 2 times 4, which is 8. And then what did I do to 4 to get to 12? I multiplied by 3. 3 times 1 is 3. All right, so now 8 plus 3 is 11, and the denominator is 12. Okay, so here's the difference in this particular one. We have a 7 and a 4. All right, so we have to add. 7 plus 4 is 11. So my final answer is going to be 11 11/12. I hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions. Take care.